Hello, this is the playthrough session of Anyworld Tabletop Roleplaying System. Today we're going to play a short sci-fi, cyberpunk-y kind of scenario with a couple of the playtesters. Would you like to introduce your characters?
Yes. Right, so I'm going to be playing a gunslinger called Stu Goku, because I'm a fool. And he's just a bit of a ne'er-do-well, but he, if you think of Sengoku from like Cyber City or like even Akira's mate, kind of along those lines, bit of a rogue, but like kind of got a bit of his own code.
Yeah.
But he's just vindictive.
Alright, cool. Who's next? Mark?
I am playing a human Psyblade assassin, female called Polyvinyl. Was a corporate assassin and has been sent to the clink for wrongdoings to the corporation.
I should point out everybody is a prisoner at the start of this scenario. So you've all done something wrong to get you thrown in space jail. So Dave, who's your character?
Yeah, so my character's Morningstar. He's a genetically engineered pit fighter who's fallen something on hard times. So he's thrown himself onto modifying himself beyond his fat grown properties. So he's added wings and claws onto himself. And he's basically become more desperate as time's gone on, fallen on hard times, fallen feral to the law, and that's how he's ended up where he is.
Alright. Cool. Connor?
Yeah, my character's called Sol, and he's a bit like a space Israeli commando slash kind of anti-paladin. Used to be part of like a task force who would go to worlds and try to like religiously dominate them, and he kind of saw the light of that and decided to murder hobo the other guys that he used to work for instead, and that's how he's ended up in prison.
Right.
His body's covered in like horrendous scarring from where he's flagellated and mutilated himself and removed this religious machinery that used to be part of his body.
All pretty cool. Yeah, so for the you could have been in prison for quite a while. It's up to you, but however long you've been serving time, you're offered this opportunity in the criminal rehabilitation program, which is funded and orchestrated by a corporation called Prisma, who are a vast, huge corporation throughout all of the sovereignty space. They have their hands in everything. And one of the kind of main focuses that they kind of really started with, I guess, would be like personal security and like that kind of thing, and I guess that translated to essentially expendable people that they could send to do things, and the prisons were full of those. So you have been subjected to pretty invasive surgery to have a optical transmitter installed in your eye, which is going to allow them to see what you see and keep you on mission, and should you deviate, it can be detonated at a moment's notice. So they've pretty much got you by the short and curlies, really. Now, you guys have been allowed to kind of like tool up. You're allowed weapons and all this kind of stuff, and you're put on a drop ship. And as you kind of descend towards the planet, you are addressed by somebody calling themselves the director. Now, the person you see is kind of super nondescript. It's just kind of like you don't know if it's just from the transmission being so blurry or what, but like it's kind of hard to say anything specific about the person that you see. It's just a person in a suit, essentially. Think like the shadow brokery people off XCOM, the guy where you can kind of like just make them out like the silhouette.
Ah, right, aye.
The director kind of like is projected in like a hologram thing before you. He says, I am the director and you may refer to me as such. You all know why you're here. You want to reduce your sentences. The mission is to infiltrate and secure the Tanza power facility, which we've learned has been taken over by a anarchist gang known as the Rexers. The facility is located on the outskirts of Complex 77. You are currently approaching Atmo of Mazero 2. The facility has to be secured quickly. There will be the presence of authority, and all of it has to be done above board. So you've been warned. The kind of hologram kind of clicks off, and yous are kind of left sat there in the dropship together. You just kind of like descend towards Atmo and hit this like thick gas cloud, which like rocks the dropship. Then you pierce through the clouds, and through the windows of the dropship, the gleam and lights of Complex 77 stream in. At this stage, I guess yous are on approach, so yous have some time to introduce yourselves to each other, I guess.
What was the last thing he said? Something about you're on. This is being monitored or something, or
yeah, because it's so close to the to Complex 77 that there's going to be cameras and everything everywhere.
So everything has to be done on the up and up. Is that what he said?
So the you would know that the lives of these essentially terrorists, for want of a better word, is now forfeit because of what they've done. So you would be allowed to execute with extreme prejudice anybody that you encounter, but like you have to be careful around if you're going to be like caught on camera and things like that. So what you all notice is that you guys are wearing kind of like essentially like Prisma kind of jumpsuits. The dropship you're in, again, lots of kind of branding of the corporation all over it. So it's obviously like a move, like a corporate move to say like we're sending people to take care of this problem.
Yeah.
So you kind of like whatever you do reflects on Prisma as I guess what the guy was getting at.
Yeah. Everything has to be on the up and up. Who the hell's he kidding? That's what my guy says.
In the sorry, what was that?
I was just gonna say, my character doesn't verbally respond, but you'll see like a wry smile on his face from that.
So your guy's pretty scarred, isn't he, from removing all of these implants?
Oh yeah, there would have been a hole in his head from where he'd like ripped out his mechanical eye, but they've just put another one in, so he's looking a bit better.
Right.
For the recording equipment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got scars down his cheek, like that you would assume go further into his like throat. Otherwise, he's wearing he's wearing medium armor, so he's not like you can't see the rest of it. But yeah, he looks like mean, but he also has like an air of like calm and confidence.
Has he got tattoos? Your guy, Connor.
No, he's probably got like skin pigmentation that looks like tattoos, just because of the like race of alien he is.
Yeah, actually,
But,
that's a point. He's an Ascadian, so he's not human at all. He's one of the older kind of alien species.
I was just thinking, like, if he had like particular tattoos that were like indicative of like what he used to do, would I recognize that?
Like maybe even Holy Scripture type thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. But if he doesn't, he doesn't like.
I probably the holes in my face are probably enough. If that makes sense, because they're like, I imagine the technology would be quite identifiable, and the holes where that used to be will probably be really identifiable too.
Kind of like having a holy cross that's also technological, like in the middle of your forehead.
Basically,
sort of
yeah.
All right, okay. Well, I'll turn to your guy and go. So you had all your stuff removed?
It's interesting as you turn to look at him, as the kind of like gleaming lights are spilling in through the window. You can just barely make out like a red like laser dot sight type thing, which is like emanating from your eye where you've had the implant. And as you kind of see that, it's barely noticeable. It's like you can just see it. But then as you kind of look around, you see everybody's in the same boat. They all are kind of projecting this
red gleam.
Yeah.
Contact lens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Catches the light.
Sorry. Yeah, in response, I'll probably say, I'll nod, and he'll say, "As one sin is removed, surely another takes its place."
Buddy. I'm hoping to catch up on a few in this mission.
Again, like another wry smile. Oh, sorry.
I wanted to ask, here, director, how many missions would have to perform before the sentences get reduced?
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
You hear a response coming from your implant. Your sentence is quite substantial. There'll be many jobs for you, I'm afraid.
Is this the director speaking?
Yep.
All right. Apparently we've got he's linked into our eyes. Or our eye, should I say. Go ahead. Ask him something.
I think I got all the information I need. How long till we make planet 4?
you'll be there within a few minutes.
Great.
You hear the like hustle and bustle of the city, kind of the hum of it, just like envelop you as you kind of descend closer towards the surface.
Take this is quite an affluent area then, if we're supposed to like remain low key.
It's one of the complexes which are kind of like developed to house like as many people as possible. So they're a bit cyberpunky, cyber city kind of a vibe to them, but there are affluent areas. The part that you're going to is, to be honest, more of like an industrial kind of area anyway. But they're all just so heavily under surveillance from everyone, including multiple other corporations and things that would be, looking at any opportunity to kind of shine the rival corporations in a negative light and things. Yeah, so as the ship descends, you see that your belts and stuff that's been kind of like keeping you strapped in just like release. The shuttle is being remotely piloted, that there isn't any other crew. You kind of descend down amongst the buildings, and you go past what would be considered street level, I guess, and descend even further down to what would be called the underworks, before landing on kind of like a pretty red lit kind of like road, but obviously it doesn't have much in the way of like kind of natural light down here, so it's all artificial.
Is there like an up station or something that I can interact with, like just to like get information from?
Yeah, there'll be
the local area.
Yeah, there'll be terminals everywhere, but there'll definitely be one on board the shuttle that you're on.
Right. I just want to access because I just want to get a rough layout of the place that we're going to.
Yeah.
So I know where, like, what I'm doing and where I'm going.
The director says, I have the information that as you go to like log on and try searching for this kind of stuff, he says, I already have that information. I'll make it available to you now. And it comes through to your optical implant, displaying in front of you like augmented reality. You see essentially like a schematic of what you're looking at. Yeah, it's pretty heavily like lots of gantries and walkways and things between all of the different like areas, but it's pretty heavily populated with the anarchist gang around the entrance, and they seem to be concentrated around a very specific area, if you know what I mean.
Oh, have they got like heat sources?
Yeah.
Let's say heat sources or motion or whatever.
What the director also says is that, of course, we are monitoring you thoroughly. He says if you look up to your right, you see that there's drones. Now there's drones from everywhere. There's loads of different ones from different corporations and things like that. But you see that there's some drones specifically kind of like watching you.
Are the drones armed?
Do you want to give us a mind check? You can have a look.
Yeah. Let me just pull this out.
Do you remember the setup for the advanced dice roller? Yeah.
Yeah. What's the difficulty? It's just average.
Yeah, 3 successes.
No, I meant the target number. Is that?
Oh yeah,
always
that's 4. Yeah,
Okay.
unless you've got advantage.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, using your like kind of military background and things, you kind of you don't. They're not heavily armed like drones that you have used in your time, but they do seem quite high tech, and they might be hiding ways to kind of incapacitate and things like that. They don't look as if they've got like heavy guns and stuff on them, though. They don't look as if they could hold the ammo. They look a little bit too kind of small for that.
Gotcha. So when I kind of receive all this, like these maps, I'm probably running through in my mind trying to do like a tactical rundown, like looking at the heat signature, see if there's like choke points to the areas, or like ways we can like, sneak around the back kind of thing.
Yeah, I think you kind of. I'll tell you what. Give us another mind check.
Oh, why was mind my dump stat? Okay, it's the same, isn't it? Yeah. Oh.
2's all right. You think that there's a pretty decent entryway through some vents, kind of bringing you behind, kind of a large portion of the heat signatures. You're not sure on how accessible, though. There might be kind of things in the way that you'll have to bypass.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll keep that to myself. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, mate. Sorry.
I said I'll keep that to myself for now, but I'll definitely note it.
Could I look for any information on the gang, as in like who the leaders are of it? Is there any information?
There is kind of relatively limited information. The Rexes were a larger gang back in the day, and there's lots of information about that. But it was they were kind of considered defunct for a number of years. There isn't a whole lot of information about this iteration, like this newer group. But they have launched attacks all across, Complex 77, but other ones too. And they tend to just kind of be trying to sow chaos, really. Like they specifically target services and things like that. They just try to bring down the man. Like very, very just kind of
generic manifesto sort of. They don't have any higher levels of almost like cultdom. You know what I mean? A higher purpose. It is just to spread chaos and anarchy.
They're not
Was there a
smart guys.
Sorry. Was there an event that had the downfall? Say the main leader got wiped out. Was there an event that caused them to kind of become a bit more?
Well, about 30 years ago, there was a huge gang war in Complex 77, and a massive reshuffle of kind of power. And they didn't come out of that very well.
Right.
But a lot of gangs didn't. It was like blood on the streets type of thing. It was the whole city kind of was engulfed in it. Block water type of thing, Judge Dredd style. And they really didn't come out of it very well at all. Most of them were killed in the process.
Was there a particular leader who was like known as being their leader that might have survived, or there was like never a body found, or
There was a leader, and his body was found. He was killed in
right.
the fight. Yeah.
It sounds as though somebody's just maybe taken on the mantle.
Just kind of, yeah, like bring back the Rexes. But it's not like, you know, you're dealing with a lot of people who, like, this is their whole life. You know, like, they never leave these, like, slums, you know, and
It's fair play.
So they're definitely gonna have the home advantage then.
I mean, it's almost a little. It's almost a little impressive that a gang has been able to kind of take over the facility this size.
So what is there in the way of local law enforcement around here?
There is the enforcers who are not kind of tied to a specific place. They're kind of the more kind of galactic, I suppose. They're like they kind of serve all of sovereignty space, and are therefore spread pretty thin. And when it comes to these kinds of kind of like the complexes and these kinds of crimes, the complexes themselves tend to have like their own kind of security forces, but like they're more interested in making sure the affluent areas just don't kind of
see any of that.
Yeah, and they kind of let the worse areas just kind of almost police themselves.
Yeah,
It's almost like a demilitarized zone.
So this bit that we're going into at the minute, is it a research station or
It's a power station.
Is it the power station?
Yeah.
Who owns the power station? Is it Hansa? Is it our corporation?
The corporation that you are currently working for is Prisma. The power, the corporation that owns the power facility is called Tenza.
Hansa.
Yeah.
But they would have, I mean, they would have their own corporate security on.
Yeah.
For a power station, and presumably they'd have like drones, mechs, guys with guns.
Yeah. You'd think they'd have
pretty heavy.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have a lot of that kind of. I mean, that's what I was saying. It's relatively impressive that a gang's managed to kind of do this, but then again, it's probably with them being new, them trying to kind of get like a renown amongst the other gangs. Like, look what we did, type of a thing.
You said that you've got like the maps, and we can see like heat signatures and blah 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 blah. Right? Is there one particular concentration of those heat signatures? Right. Can I try and hack the local like video surveillance and see if I can see what's going on in there? Because I suspect that like there's somebody else pulling the strings of this gang or helping them, giving them advice. And
so you wanna hack like a local terminal to access one of the kind of like surveillance drones or something.
Well, just a camera in the room that I can see all those heat signatures in.
Ah, right, okay. So yeah, the surveillance. The what would be the intelligence cortex of the station.
Yes.
It'll be it'll be separate. It'll have its own grid from like the local like streets and stuff where you are, but you could definitely get. Once you kind of infiltrate, you would be able to kind of get. Right. Once you're in the facility, you'd be able to do that. Yeah.
All right. Is there any like maybe external, like like a rooftop, where I could maybe get access to a terminal?
It looks like there is maybe not access directly to a terminal, but there is some gear on the dropship that you could use to kind of like effectively clamp onto the grid of the station if you were to get up onto the roof and access to kind of like the cables and the pipelines and things. You'd be able to kind of clamp onto that, and that would serve as a kind of like, like a portable terminal type thing. That would allow you to kind of access that way. Yeah. You've got, like I say, there is some tech on the drop ship. Some like just basic stuff. There's some charges, just to, like for blowing off doors. There is one of those surveillance drone things, but it's not sort of drone that flies around kind of thing. It'll be more like a ball. You could roll it around along the ground, and then it'll be able to kind of like see into other rooms and stuff like that. So there is some gear.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say to the guys, does anybody else believe that this bunch of yahoos would be organised enough to?
I start laughing. Like, I'm with you. Absolutely.
Like, while I'm doing that, I'm like, doing that like cowboy thing where he's like spinning his gun on his finger and into the holster and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to take that hacking unit and go onto the roof and see if I can access their video surveillance and see if we can get an idea of what's going on in there. Does anybody want to join me?
Well, I can check the vents, see what we're looking like at the front entrance. If there's any way to get in there, and see if the vents are if they can be triggered by some sort of early warning system.
Well, before you say that, I'll quickly tell you about the vents, and then I'll say.
Alright.
And then I'll respond to. Sorry, what was your character's name?
Stu Goku.
Stu Goku. I would say, I will provide covering fire, Stu Goku.
Excellent.
Well, maybe not fire.
I'll say, I'll gesture to the things on my back and say, I'll get up there and see if the way's clear.
Ah, that's a good point.
You do that, wings.
You could fly up there, couldn't you?
Yeah. So, I'll glare at you and say, "Name's Morningstar."
Got it.
Alright, awesome. So yeah, you take off, mate. Are you taking anyone with you? You could probably carry like one of the others. Or are you just going yourself?
Is there an ample ladder for them to get up?
A little bit of climbing, and then yeah, there'll be a service ladder type thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fly up by myself.
As he flies off, I will shake my head towards Stu Goku, and in a basic gesture of like, he's a genie. Do you know what I mean? Like, typical genie. Plus, we'd also, I'd imagine, be suffering, Stu, from that uncanny valley thing, because they give off a really weird like resonance with other humans, because the genies.
Morningstar's race, yeah, because they're genetically perfect. They kind of give you that uncanny valley feeling of like that
shudder.
A bit weird.
Yeah, even when this thing has clearly been clearly a bit wrung out because he's suffering from drug withdrawal and has seen better days.
I forgot.
All right, don't worry about it. I'll see you're noticing of me, and then I'll look back at you and go, all right, I'll take it easy on wings. And I'll pick up the hacking device and like head off towards the ladder.
I'll chuck the charges over to Sol.
I'll catch them. If those two are going that way, maybe I should accompany you.
Me?
Yeah, are you particularly sneaky?
Yes. Well,
Is that-
well, I am out of character, but you've probably tell by the way I move. I've got like an elegance, and I'm very careful, very quiet, unless I don't want to be.
Yeah. How far away from both the roof that they're going to and the complex that we're trying to infiltrate? That, yeah, like comparatively, how far away are they from us?
So they're probably like if they're scaling up to the roof, they're probably like medium range away from you, using the range bands of Anyworld. But then, if you were to, so the road that you would be on, kind of like would be connected to the entrance of the facility, and that's where Mark said you were going. Is that right? You wanted to check the entrance.
Yeah, keeping out. If there's like containers and stuff, like licking round the shadows. I'll be taking that the rover as well, the little ball
Yeah,
optical thing.
the little sentry thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not going to make you roll for climbing up onto the thing. You've got enough time to do it. It's not. You're not under pressure.
Yeah.
But you do head up the like you climb up the thing, then you get up to the ladder, and you start making your way up to the roof. Morningstar, when you land up on there, you look around, you see there's a bunch of kind of like dead like security. They look to have been shot with silenced weapons.
Do basically have the bodies been touched, or they've just been left where they're lying?
Just left where they fell.
Can I see any? Is this particularly overlooked by any other buildings?
It's overlooked by loads of buildings because it's kind of technically like way below them, if you know what I mean. But like none of them are kind of like. You'd have to go like like a few hundred feet above you to get to the other buildings, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
Have they got windows in them? Have they got windows in them, or are they all like sort of slab-sided?
in the buildings above.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of more like just warehouses and things like that, like above. So there would be windows. The one you're on right now has kind of like almost like blast shield kind of things over all of it, like the windows and things like that, but they're all shut.
No, my thought was if anyone's going to be if they were killed by sniper fire or somebody at fairly close range.
Do you want to give us a mind check?
Oh, yeah, that's my dump stat too.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's.
What did you get? What did you get?
Zero successes.
They look like they were killed with chainsaws, mate.
Brutalized.
Oh. My second thought is if
you can't really tell. You can't really tell if they were sniped or executed up close.
It's not your fault here.
Yeah. My second thought is if if the bodies have been untouched and these are security guards, see what else they've got on them. So things like communicators, any sort of weapons, that sort of thing.
They do have comms on them. If you hold it up to your ear, you just hear static. It's the line seems to be dead. They would also have probably ammo as well, some magazines, and I'd say medium-ranged weapons, just kind of standard issue stuff.
Not
Well,
really
it's
my
the
thing.
What was that? Sorry?
Sorry, have I reached the top yet? Or?
Yeah, you just kind of like hump the kind of device over the side of the thing, and then pull yourself up under the roof.
And see the same thing.
Yeah.
Slowpoke.
Yeah.
Slowpoke. There's
Hey, these
some
guys
bodies
didn't have
here.
such a good day, did they? I just ignore
No.
the bodies completely.
No,
Straight past
there's more ammunition if you need it on them.
them. Will it be compatible with my gun?
So actually, you've got like a big hand cannon thing, so probably not. No. I mean, you could take one of the rifles though if you needed.
Yeah.
I'll
be honest with them.
Polly, you.
I will take one of their. I'll take one of their comm units.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can I tell just by the spacing of like the? Will I have to make a mind roll as well, just to see if I can figure it?
Yeah. Now that the place is covered in feathers, it's even harder.
Feathers and bird crap. Like, let's be going to shoot. Caca. As long as I don't have to say, you are so beautiful to me. Where's Dave? I'll say.
As if you sing it that, my character's going, I'm beautiful to everyone, sweetheart.
Very compounded.
I know it's
roll.
separate.
Oh, it's separate.
Yeah.
Never mind. Sorry.
I think you can hover.
And I didn't put a thing on. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'll get this right. Third time lucky.
my
2
God.
successes. What am I doing there? Exploding separate. No, that's right.
It's all right. +4.
Did you set the target number, Stu?
Why have you got?
I don't know
think
why I've got those for. I've done it wrong way.
Yeah.
Right, so 4th time lucky.
You can copy the code from other people's.
It's all right.
Rolls
It's all right.
if you want.
I've got it this time. All right. I'm on it. Oh. No. I can't tell.
No, you did great.
Yeah, that's
Infinitely better than I did.
So, like as you kind of go over to the to start like locating an area where you can activate this terminal thing, this terminal hack, you kind of like cursory glance over at one of the bodies nearby. Looks to have been taken out by what you would consider a sniper, like from a range, like a silenced kind of scoped rifle.
Okay. And I'll just not pay that much attention anymore to them and just carry on with what I was doing, just setting up the hacking device.
Cool. It takes you a couple of minutes to kind of you'll have to take off some of the kind of like metal casing and things, and then get it onto the wiring and set it up. Polly, as you approach the kind of entranceway, you see that the shutter doors and stuff, the like blast kind of doors of are locked. There is inbuilt kind of turrets above the door, but they're just deactivated, pointing down. You don't
That's
see.
the mate.
Actually, give me a mind check as well.
What I was looking for there was any like service like event hatches, but they mightn't be on that part of the complex. They might be further out in the on the outskirts. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, Sol would have, because he said he told you about the vents. There is some vents, but they're at the kind of like rear of the complex.
Yeah. I take it I'm here with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
relatively close, I guess, because Polly's kind of like sneaking up.
yeah. I was like hanging about. I wanted to like scope the place out, walk quite slowly. But yeah, head in the same direction.
Okay, that's a really good pass, mate. You are looking at this whole scene, and you're just like, so hold on. There's no spent casings or anything from these turrets. Like they didn't fire a single shell. They're just deactivated. To get access to the cortex of this facility, they would have had to have been, like in the facility or near it, close enough to do what you guys are doing. It all just seems a little bit weird.
I'll come back to Sol and I'll tell him what I've discovered. So the blast doors are down. You have two large turrets, which have been deactivated. No shell casings. No scene of any combat on the near the entrance.
But also no bodies.
No bodies, no blood, no sign of anything. I don't know what the other two, what they are up to. I don't know if they're coming back or what. Or whether we should go up towards them.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're waiting for us to come back. Do we want to... Or maybe just send you a little bit deeper to see if you can actually find these access shafts?
Is that possible, Hans? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll do that.
All right, so
and I think, in character, I'll say something like, "There is a way without bloodshed that these thugs have found. Then maybe there is a way for us."
This is true. Somehow, I've got the feeling that old Capitan there wants heads on a plate. It would be best if there was no bloodshed, but don't think that's going to cut it, so I think he wants his pound of flesh.
Don't respond.
But that is me giving you to your character that I am not I'm up to the fact of what you just said. Yeah, if you can carry this out without bloodshed, yes, that's good. I'm not adverse to that.
So does that mean, Sol, you're going to reconvene with the guys on the roof while Polly goes further in, or are you staying where you are?
No, I will. I'm probably going to scope out the kind of perimeter en route to back that way. I don't want to go too fast out, but I basically want to go at a pace where he's like catching up to me before I get back, if that makes sense.
Right. So, okay. Do you want to give me a sneak roll, Polly? Stealth roll, so that'll be agility.
Agility. I get advantage with this because I have the sneak trait.
Yeah.
Right, so agility.
Just be to be honest, it'll just be a 2 success thing. But the better you get, the better you... this is not something that's super difficult for you to do because you're quite well trained in this. But if you roll incredibly well, then you do it incredibly well, if that makes sense.
Cool. So does like I say, it's with advantage, so does that drop the target to 3?
Yes. So your dice will pass on a 3.
Most balls. Right, here we go. Whoa, oh, 6 on the fate dice as well. Boosh.
All right. Well,
I'm a ghost.
this is a perfect example of how the dice work. So, yeah, your first dice here rolled a 6, and when we're playing online, we consider the first dice to be your fate dice, right? So if it rolls a 1 or a 6, that's important. A 6 means that you've received an extra bonus to your roll. Okay. The fact that you've also completely smashed the target number, you sneak through, nobody would ever be able to spot you. You've even though there's deactivated cameras and stuff around your spot, and floating drones and stuff in the kind of area outside of the kind of complex, not a single one of them would be able to pick you up on any of the footage, anything like that. You are literally invisible as you pass through this.
Can I be making a mental note of cameras, like where they are, if we had to come back out this way on mass?
Yeah. And as you kind of make your way through, you encounter the first few bodies where you see again silenced ranged weapons. Some guys in like kind of be like a sentry kind of guard tower type thing, and they've just been like iced, and
there's no like that they haven't been ransacked.
No.
Right. Well, this I'm starting to think that Stu's right, that there's been another hit squad sent in to eradicate these people to gain inner access to the air. So basically somebody's been here before, but they're the professional squad.
All right.
That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I'll reconvene with Stu Goku.
With the extra bonus that you got, you managed to get to the you were looking for the ducts towards the rear of the complex, is that right?
That's right, yeah. Any way to get in?
Yeah, you managed to find a pretty a bit of a windy route for if you want to completely stay unseen, but you managed to kind of commit the route to memory, and you get to the place that Sol had indicated on the schematic, because you would have it as well in your optical implant kind of thing. And when you get there, you see that as well as the cameras and the turrets and stuff being deactivated, it looks like these vents have been deactivated too, turned off. Normally they'd be spinning, and there's plenty of room for you to get through.
Yeah, I'll be checking first, if I may. I'll be checking for seeing if there's any silent triggers, alarms. Do you know what I mean? With beams across the floors.
With your amazing stealth check, mate, I'll tell you that there isn't.
You'll tell us that there isn't. Doesn't need to say that there isn't.
I'll tell you that there isn't. No. With your amazing check there, mate, I'm considering that you have done all of these. You've been very...
It's a surveillance rule incorporated and everything type of thing, yeah?
Yeah, I'm thinking that you've as you've snuck up, you've been paying attention to all of this type of stuff, and the fact that you get there, you check for any kind of laser alarms or anything like that kind of thing, and it just doesn't seem to be. Everything seems to have been powered down. What you do see is that these vents and stuff do have lenses where those kinds of silent alarms would be, but there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be deactivated.
You mean as in it's been physically removed?
Just shut down?
Just shut down.
Connor?
Shut down, okay.
Boom. That's the shutdown noise. Boom. Boom.
Boo-doo-boo-doo.
Yeah, so back to the roof. As you get the terminal connected, Sol kind of gets up there. That you were going onto the roof, right, Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I don't know.
You were going
Sure,
onto the roof, right?
One more, or all of us. Someone's going on the roof.
Anyway, you get the device connected up, and what you find is that there has been like a massive site-wide kind of shutdown of all of the major systems.
Is there still power running to them?
Yeah. Everything has just been switched off by kind of like the control panel from within the facility.
I just want to turn them on
Everything.
and have a look through. Turn everything on. Well, cameras wise, I want to turn all the cameras on and have a look through them.
So just cameras, you're not like turning...
Just cameras.
Right, cool. Right, as you turn the cameras on, you see the inside of the facility, all of the kind of like gantries and stuff, and you see a bunch of kind of like punks, like holding guns, kind of like talking to each other and shouting. One of them kind of like picks like a can up and kind of like throws it over the gantry thing, and then starts kind of like shooting at it, just being jerks basically.
Okay.
Being anarchists.
You see a bunch of bodies on the floor, kind of like piled, look like the security forces.
Okay.
Give me a mind check.
Right. I'm going to use my edge to reduce the target number for this. Or a point of edge. To give me advantage.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 successes.
Nice.
Boom.
All right, mate. Pretty quick. As you're looking through the kind of security systems, you see something and you immediately think like, interesting. One of the punks has got prison tattoos. You've seen them before when you were in prison. And then as the guy who kind of throws the thing up and he's like shooting at it, he turns around, you swear you see a red glint in his eye.
Oh.
Interesting.